Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Join me this afternoon. You already seen him once on the show today, and he's back. He's willing to stay. It's your Chief of Police, Chad Brecklin, taking the time out of his schedule to come on the show today. Appreciate it.
Well, for the record, you wouldn't let me leave.
That's besides the point.
Oh, okay.
You're not
I
supposed
just want to make sure that your listeners have full disclosure.
You're not supposed to tell.
All right.
You're not supposed to tell everybody out there what we do here.
Okay.
In
I
TF.
apologize. We'll pull the curtain back over the Fact TV area.
You've ticked off the TF people, and that's not a good thing there. I'm just saying. No, I was kidding. You can't threaten the chief either, by the way, just in case you wanted to know. No, Chad, thank you for coming in, and we're coming off Police Memorial Week.
Sure.
A great opportunity to highlight the great things that happen in the police world. And the police world means so much more, I think, today than it ever has. How would you sum up last week and going forward here?
Well, obviously, last week exists to honor the sacrifice of officers who have died in the line of duty over the years. And 1962 was when John F. Kennedy first signed the proclamation designating May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which May 15th falls is National Police Week. So there are a lot of events throughout the state, but focused specifically in the Washington, D.C. area that entire week that do pay respects and homage to those, again, that have made that sacrifice serving their communities. And it does give us the opportunity to then take a look at, what we have here locally in Fitchburg and the dedicated men and women that we have in the police department who are out there every day serving their community, working the shift work out in the weather and those sorts of things. Just trying to do what's right for the wishes of the community and keep everybody safe. And we actually had our department's annual awards ceremony on the 15th.
I was going to bring that up next.
So I'm glad I could lead a segue for you.
Peace Officer, which I think was very honorable.
Yeah, it was one of those things that just happened to work out where the stars kind of aligned, so to speak, and the 15th lined up nicely, and certainly there was an appropriateness to that day. And we were able to recognize a number of our staff who had done things from either life-saving efforts or taking homicide suspects off the streets and those sorts of things, and recognize them for their efforts formally. Also allowed us the opportunity to have badge pinnings for 6 of our newest police officers that have all been hired within the last year. And then it also allowed us the opportunity to do an oath of honor with all of our new employees, both sworn and non-sworn, just reaffirming their commitment to serving the city.
Well, it's a good opportunity for their families to come in, see the police department, get an update from you, which I think brings that family component to everything as well.
Yeah, we tried something a little different this year too, and we moved it to the early evening. Historically, we've done that event in the afternoon and moved it to 6 p.m. We were fortunate that Mayor Richardson was able to join us that evening and say a few words to express his support for the work that our people do, and it was nice to see a good turnout from family and others.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys. Thank
you.
everybody down there for what you guys do. We appreciate it. You guys are going to be participating in the Click It or Ticket campaign that's going on here through early June.
Yeah.
Why is this so important to buckle up?
Well, study after study shows that wearing a seatbelt certainly improves your chances of surviving a crash and minimizing injuries. So we do work cooperatively with the Department of Transportation and other police departments to periodically put on mobilizations where we do pay more attention to these sorts of traffic safety related matters like wearing seatbelts. Occasionally it focuses on speed, occasionally it focuses on drunk driving. But those 3 are the big factors in determining whether or not you're, 1, involved in a crash, and or 2, what the extent of your injuries could be. So it's very difficult to survive a crash, a serious crash, without a seatbelt. So the purpose, obviously, of the campaign is to educate motorists and encourage them to wear seatbelts each and every time they get behind the wheel, and really in the car as a passenger.
I think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It really is. It's very important. It's a small thing, but
it really is. But it's gonna minimize your chance of being injured, which could, if you're injured, depending on the severity of the injuries, could limit your ability to work, provide income and such for your family, and those sorts of things. So it's easy to kind of get lost in the daily hustle, to not put that seatbelt on sometimes. But it is one of those things that should be in our minds and in the forefront every time we get into a car, because it could help us in the long run.
Absolutely, yeah. Be a life changer,
Yeah,
really, without
absolutely.
clicking it. Going into the summer, Chad, what would be a good safety message that you would put out there to the community? I think every year I've had the opportunity to ask you, oh, it's coming up on summer.
Yeah.
You're going to be out on the bikes. You're gonna be,
Right.
But what's the message that you put out to the officers as we come into the summertime? Is it watch for the
Sure.
kids? What are some of those things that you guys are focusing on?
Well, I'm going to mix it up just a minute. And I think, over the years when we've talked about the message to the community, I think the message might be a little bit different than what I've historically given. And I think the advice I would give to our community right now is get to know your neighbor. If you want a safety tip, get to know your neighbor. The weather is appearing to finally break here, and warmer weather is upon us. And so we're more likely to be out, have our windows open, those sorts of things, and just have more of an opportunity to interact with our neighbors. Get to know your neighbor so that if you're going to be gone, you have somebody that you can keep an eye on your place. If you see something suspicious in the neighborhood, you may have somebody else that you can kind of relay that information to, and then maybe one of you shares it with the police department, depending on what it is. And, just if there are situations or issues that arise in a neighborhood, by knowing your neighbors, you guys can work together to address them. And obviously call us if you need our assistance with criminal matters, or, to resolve some sorts of situations that maybe are unresolvable through conversation with your neighbors. But by and large, a lot of good crime prevention could come from just knowing your neighbors.
I love this tip. And when you start talking to your neighbors, you believe how much they actually, they kind of know when you come and go.
Exactly, right.
And you get used to seeing the same old cars or or whatever. I mean, you know it, and working as a group, a team effort, you can keep everybody safe around you. That's a pretty good one.
Thank you.
Look at that. This is why we bring you on.
I'm happy that I delivered today.
Oh, my goodness. All right. That is your Chief of Police, Chad Brecklin, and you'll be able to join him tonight at the Safety Forum here at the Fitchburg Public Library, and I've been told to wrap, so don't say anything, Chad. We'll just see you there. All right. We'll take a quick break. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.